Welcome back. In the previous class, the important topic discussed is parts of lathe. So the parts of lathe are bed, headstock, tailstock, carriage. These are the important parts. So already regarding bed and headstock, the discussion is completed. So in the today's present class, we should discuss about tailstock and carriage. So bed, once again just the review. The bed carries the total parts of the lathe, that is the headstock, tailstock and carriage. The carriage consists of tool post, compound rest and cross slide. These three elements are mounted and as integrated part it is called as the carriage. That means simply we can say carriage is a element of lathe machine which carries the combined cross slide, carriage and tool post or tool holder. So already yesterday we discussed about bed. Bed is important element which supports the total system of the lathe machine, which absorbs the vibrations during the running condition so that the machine should be stable even though machine runs at higher speeds. So headstock carries running center or tool holding work holding device like 4-jaw check or 3-jaw check or faceplate or collet check. That means the headstock carries the main spindle. So the back gear mechanism or back gear engagement, which is used to change the speed of the job for various different operations. This particular back gear mechanism or back gear engagement is mounted within the headstock only. So this is the real view of a back gear engagement system. So now in the present class, the topic to be discussed is tailstock and the remaining parts. So the parts of lathe tailstock. The tailstock is also having important role, but it is a dead center or idle center. So this particular one is the tailstock. So the tailstock is mounted on the extreme right end of the lathe bed. On the extreme right end of the lathe bed. This tailstock moves over the bed within the inner guideways. In the previous class, as we discussed, the lathe bed consists inner guideways and outer guideways. The purpose of the inner guideways is to provide the traveling position for this particular tailstock. In the similar way, the outer guideways, the outer grooves are provided for movement of that particular carriage. So this particular tailstock carries a dead center. So the movement of that particular dead center is controlled with the help of this particular hand wheel. So this is the line diagram of a tailstock. So for minor displacements, in order to adjust or in order to move this particular dead center for a limited length up to 150 mm, by keeping this particular adjustment, by keeping this particular nut in the lock position and by rotating the hand wheel, the dead center may move either to and fro direction from this particular headstock. So this particular mechanism is operated with the help of the screw, with the help of the thread screw. Whenever the hand wheel rotates with the help of this particular lever, immediately the rotation of this particular screw causes for movement of this particular barrel. So as this particular barrel is fixed with this particular dead center, why it is called as the dead center means even though the particular job or any component which is in contact with this particular end, this particular barrel and center both are kept at idle position. That means there is no power transmission either to that particular dead center or this particular barrel. That means the rotational speed of this particular dead center and barrel is 0, irrespective of the rotational speed of the job. That is the reason this particular center is called as the dead center. In some situations, this particular barrel is also supposed to be adjusted. For that particular purpose, this particular clamp is used. That means in order to move the tailstock, in order to move the tailstock over the bedways. So now by using this particular nut mechanism or by loosening this particular nuts, the tailstock total unit, the total tailstock unit is adjusted at a required position. Once that particular total tailstock unit is adjusted at required position, then after locking this particular nuts, then by using this particular hand wheel, the required movement is adjusted to this particular center. So this is this particular simple movement of this particular dead center with the help of the hand wheel and with the help of this particular tailstock system. So this particular tailstock also called as the loose head stock. Why? Because why it is called as the loose head stock means if we observe clearly the previous element what we discussed head stock, the position of the head stock with respect to bed is constant. Once that particular machine is fabricated or manufactured, it is not possible to move the position of the head stock. So that is the fixed one. Whereas if we come to this particular position of tailstock, the position of tailstock changed with the help of the adjustable screws. So that's why this particular tailstock also called as the loose head stock only. So the names are different. In some situations, some persons they may also called as the puppet head also. So as we discussed, the tailstock is located at the left side of the lathe bed, but not at the fixed position. So the main purpose of this particular tailstock, that means it assembles or it carries the total barrel and dead center. So this particular dead center supports the end of a job. So during the previous discussion we discussed, if the L by D ratio is more than 4, then it causes to produce vibration. What is L by D? That means the ratio of length of the job to diameter of the job. So if that particular L by D ratio is more than 4, in that case, in order to prevent the vibrations for the of that particular job, so the one end is fixed at the firmly in the headstock, and the other end is supported with the help of the dead center. That means the center of the object which is under rotation is balanced with the help of this particular center point of the particular dead center, so that it prevents the vibration or bending of that particular longer job. In addition to supporting the job, this particular tailstock also used to mount drills, reamers, taps. So if a particular hole is supposed to be drilled exactly at the center of the job, at the central axis of the job, then only this particular either drill or reamer or tap is used to place within the tailstock. If that particular hole is supposed to be drilled other than its central axis, then this particular tailstock is not at all useful for making that particular operations. But in generally, whenever a job is required a hole at a central portion of its axis, in that particular condition, that particular barrel is used to hold either drill bit or a rammer or tap. During this particular condition, by loosening that particular barrel, the dead center is removed from that particular barrel in that particular barrel, and a sleeve is inserted within that particular barrel. So now the required cutting tool, either it may be drill or reamer, it is assembled or it is inserted within that particular sleeve. So whenever that particular hand wheel of the tailstock is under rotation, whenever that particular hand wheel of that particular tailstock is rotated, that means the motion is supposed to be given to the cutting tool with the help of the rotation of the tailstock. So that is the simple working principle of the tailstock in order to perform operation either drilling or reaming and tapping. So here one important thing is, in order to perform either drilling operation and for reaming operation, there is no need to change the direction of the job during the reverse position of the drill or reamer. Drill or reamer. That means the headstock should rotate continuously either for forward motion or reverse motion of that particular cutting tool. Whereas tap, what is tap? Tap is a cutting tool used to make internal threads. So in generally, in order to make internal threads, instead of using that particular thread cutting mechanism by using either lead screw, the best and simple mechanism is taps. Suppose if you want to make external threads, then the best option is by using that particular lead screw mechanism and by changing the gear ratio, the required pitch external threads obtained. But the thing is, in order to obtain internal threads, the best operation is tapping operation. So tapping operation means producing internal threads by using a cutting tool or special tool called as the tap. Here the thing is that particular drilling operation and reaming operation are completed by using a single set of drill bit or single set of reamer bit. Whereas in order to produce internal threads, that particular taps are supposed to be different series. So either 3 to 4 series taps are supposed to be used in order to produce internal threads. For that particular purpose, during the forward stroke, this particular tap is moving the forward position so that metal is cutted or the required shape is formed within the particular hollow portion. And during the reversing position of that particular tap, that means in order to remove that particular tap from the central hole, now the rotational direction, the direction of rotation of the job is supposed to be reverse. For that particular purpose, by using that particular reverse gear mechanism in that particular headstock, that particular job is rotated under reverse direction. During the reverse position, during the reverse rotation of that particular job only, the tap is supposed to eject or remove from that particular hole. So the tailstock is moved along the length of the bed to accommodate different lengths. So just now we discussed, if in order to adjust that particular dead center position or barrel position or tailstock position to a smaller length or limited length, by using that particular hand wheel, rotating hand wheel, the position of the barrel is adjusted. But in order to adjust a longer length, for that particular condition, by loosening that particular adjustable nuts, this particular tailstock is moved along the length of the bed to accommodate different lengths. Or that means the tailstock is positioned at any place along the length of that particular lathe bed. It is provided with a screw for adjusting the tailstock set over for taper turning. So this particular tailstock is also used for taper turning methods. Totally we are having 4 important methods for taper turning. So among that 4 important methods, one method is used to produce by using set over of that particular tailstock. So in the upcoming class, we are having very important discussion regarding this particular taper turning operations. In that particular taper turning operations, this particular mechanism, this particular operation is known as the set over method. So in order to process taper turning by using set over taper turning method, for that the adjustment of the tailstock is required. For that particular purpose also the screw is useful. So it can be fixed at any position by clamping that particular bolt. So in the previous line diagram, clearly we can visualize that particular upper part of body is made hollow to accommodate a spindle, feed screw, hand wheel and spindle clamp. Observe once again this one. So this particular upper portion, this is the hollow portion. This is the hollow portion. If you observe clearly, so this is the hollow portion. Within this particular hollow portion, this particular barrel and this particular screw and center all are assembled or mounted within this particular hollow portion. Upper part of body is made hollow to accommodate a spindle, feed screw, hand wheel and spindle clamp. Hand wheel is provided for longitudinal movement. That means in order to adjust that particular dead center or in order to move that particular barrel to a limited length, the hand wheel is rotation is best method. Whereas in order to adjust that particular dead center to a larger length, this particular hand wheel is restricted. In that case, by loosening that particular tailstock adjustable screw only, that particular method is possible. Front end is fitted with the dead center. Clearly, we visualize that particular positioning of that particular dead center in that particular 2D view of tailstock. So after tailstock, the next important part is carriage. Already we discussed tailstock moves over the lathe bed within the inner guideways, whereas the carriage moves over the lathe bed along its complete length or entire length, but over the outer guideways only. So observe, this is this particular carriage. Observe this total system. This total system is called as the carriage. Why it is called as the carriage? Why it is called as the carriage? Because it carries the total cutting tool position. It carries the total setup of the cutting tool. The cutting tool is placed in the tool post. The tool post is mounted over this particular cross slide. The tool post is more compound rest. It is mounted over the compound rest, whereas the compound rest is mounted over the cross slide. So the total arrangement is motion is possible with the help of this particular carriage, or simply it carries from one end of lathe bed to another end of the lathe bed. That's why this particular total unit is called as the carriage. So this is this particular diagram for our idea. So tool post is mounted over the compound rest, and the compound rest is mounted over the cross slide, and the cross slide is placed over the carriage. If you are observing, the tool post is having a degree of rotation 360 degree. At any position, this particular may be rotated. And when we are observing this particular compound rest, the compound rest move either to and fro directions. It should not rotate in the 360 degree position. Only it move to and fro direction. So by changing that particular rotation position, the two compound rest may be adjusted to any required angle. So the position of the compound rest is mainly changed whenever a particular operation or process changes. So this particular carriage supports, guides and feeds the tool against the job. So that particular carriage, as it carries that particular total tool post, so it supports and guides, feeds the tool against the job. It provides three movements to the tool. Just now we discuss the carriage moves along lathe bed only, along the lathe bed only. That means the motion of this particular tool post or the motion of the carriage is parallel to the rotational axis only. That means parallel to the axis. Whereas if the cutting tool is supposed to move in the perpendicular direction, then carriage position is locked at a particular position, and by giving motion to that particular saddle, that particular cutting tool moves perpendicular to that particular job. Suppose if the cutting tool is supposed to move in the inclined position, that means in order to produce taper turning operations, in that particular condition, by moving that particular or by rotating that particular compound rest, the cutting tool may move in the inclined position. That means simply clear. Whenever the cutting tool moves parallel to the axis of the job, by keeping or by arresting the movement of the cross slide and compound rest, only carriage is supposed to move. That means the cutting tool moves parallel to the job. In order to move the cutting tool perpendicular to that particular job, example, in order to perform facing operation. In that particular condition, the position of the carriage is adjusted and it is locked at a particular position. After adjusting and locking the carriage at a particular position, now the movement to that particular tool is given with the help of the cross slide. As the cross slide moves to and fro position, the cutting tool moves perpendicular to the axis of the rotation. And if the cutting tool moves in inclined position, or the cutting tool is required to move in the inclined position or at a particular angle to the axis of the rotation of the job, in that condition, the position of the carriage and the cross slide both are locked at a particular position or at a particular portion. So now by moving that particular tail stalk, that particular carriage, that particular cutting tool moves in the inclined position. That means in order to move the cutting tool in inclined position, only the compound rest is supposed to be moved. That means during the movement of inclined position of cutting tool, both carriage and cross slide are locked at a particular portion, and only compound rest is supposed to move along with the cutting tool. So in this way, the required three movements are provided to this particular cutting tool. That means x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. That means longitudinal feed, cross feed and angular feed. Angular feed nothing but the inclined movement of the cutting tool. That means the total carriage it carries, or the main parts of the carriage are cross slide, saddle, compound rest. So just now we discussed. And next one is the compound rest carries tool post and apron. So these three, that means cross slide, saddle, compound rest. These three are mounted. Over the carriage. Or simply we can say the combination of cross slide, saddle and compound rest. The combination of this particular cross slide, saddle and compound rest is called as the carriage. Whereas this particular compound rest, once again it carries a separate set of, one is the tool post and second one is the apron. So this is the saddle. So this particular saddle is mounted over the lathe bedways. This particular saddle mounted over the lathe bedways. So as the saddle moves over the lathe bed means the total system is moving over the lathe bedways. Slides along the bedways. Just now as we discussed, this particular saddle, these grooves are used to move over the these grooves, not this groove. These grooves are used to move the cross slide. These grooves are used to move over the cross slide. This particular grooves, this is the V groove and this is the flat groove. These two grooves are used to move the total system carriage over the lathe bedways. If you observe in generally, that particular front portion of the outer groove is having outer guideway is having V groove, and the far away guideway is having a rectangular shape guideway. That's why this particular saddle consists two different grooves. One groove is having V groove position and another one is the flat or rectangular guideway. So now the total movement of the carriage is causing with the help of this particular saddle. So this particular saddle, it is having a dovetail portion or dovetail groove. This dovetail groove is used, it is called as the male dovetail groove. That means this is the extension portion. So this particular dovetail portion is used to accommodate or adjusting cross slide over this particular saddle. So once again, I am repeatedly telling to you, the combination of saddle and cross slide, and over the cross slide, one compound rest is assembled. So the combination of these three is called as the carriage. So this is the base of the, simply we may consider this particular saddle is the base portion or bottom portion of the carriage. So this particular saddle, it slides along the bedways and support the cross slide, compound rest, tool post. Just now we discussed the same points. So observe, whenever we are going to discuss a particular point or a particular topic, first, mainly for this particular subject, production technology or basic manufacturing engineering, or for any diagrammatic subjects, simply by observing or by visualizing that particular diagram itself, we are supposed to get the total point of that particular component or process or operation. Simply visualization of that particular component is supposed to give the total idea of that particular application or use or that particular construction of that particular component. So simply by using that, simply by seeing that particular saddle position itself, we are supposed to get the total idea how the saddle is moved over that particular bedways, how that particular saddle is used to support the remaining parts. So that is the importance of that particular diagrammatic representation in this particular subject. If you are not in a position to observe and to get an idea of that particular diagram, then it is not possible to understand the concept of that particular component. So this particular saddle slides along the bedways. So that particular bottom grooves provided to the saddle are used for sliding purpose of that particular carriage. And whereas that particular male dovetail joint provided on the top of the saddle is used to place that particular cross slide. So in that particular cross slide, once again it carries compound rest, and the compound rest supports the tool post. So it is a total integrated part. So this particular saddle, just now we clearly visualized, it has a V guideways and flat guideways, and one side for mounting the lathe bed. So in generally, the V guideways are in front of the operator, and for flat guideways are far away from the position of the operator. So this particular saddle, other side it is provided with the dovetail joint, the dovetail groove. That means bottom grooves are used to move over the bed, and this particular upper portion male dovetail joint is used to accommodate or to assemble the cross slide. So this is the next component, cross slide. This is the next component, cross slide. That means clearly we can visualize that particular cross slide is moving over the dovetail joint. So this particular internal dovetail joint, if we are observing this particular internal dovetail joint, this particular internal dovetail groove, this particular internal dovetail groove is placed over that particular dovetail groove provided on the bottom of the cross slide is placed over this particular dovetail, male dovetail. That's why it is called as the male dovetail. So this particular dovetail portion is used to accommodate this particular internal V groove or internal dovetail groove. This particular internal dovetail is mounted over that particular male dovetail joint of that particular saddle. So that's why what happened, whenever this particular cross slide is given some motion or some rotate, some movement, this particular cross slide, the name itself indicates slide. It slides. How it slides? It slides cross position. Slide means it can move or it can slide. How it move? It can move cross position. That means perpendicular position. That's why this particular saddle is crossed as a cross slide. So mounted on the top of the saddle, clearly we can visualize in that particular both diagrams. That means the particular diagram of the saddle or the diagram of the cross slide clearly gives the clear idea how both components are assembled together. Next, this particular cross slide always moves in the direction normal. Normal, what is the meaning of normal? What is the meaning of normal? Perpendicular. In mathematics, in the straight lines, we discuss about a line, normal line and tangent line. In the similar way, even in the drawing also, either it may be ellipse or parabola, we should draw a line normal and tangent to the curve at a particular point. Here, what is the meaning of tangent? It means a line just touches or just coincide at a single point. Then what is the normal? Normal is a line perpendicular to that particular tangent. So this is already we are having idea regarding this particular topic, but it is a just brushing up. What is the meaning of normal? Always normal means it is perpendicular to that particular axis. It is perpendicular to that particular axis. So this particular cross slide, it moves only in the direction perpendicular to that particular axis of rotation. So at the beginning of that particular carriage itself, our discussion is completed regarding how that particular motion is supposed to be provided to that particular tool post or cutting tool. So in this way, this particular cross slide purpose or function is to provide the perpendicular motion to the particular cutting tool. So that is the main purpose of the cross slide. So this particular cross slide is operated by hand or cross feed screw or power feed. So if your job is a simple one, smaller one, then the cross slide is rotated or cross slide is moved by using a hand wheel system, which is placed over the above to the saddle. And suppose if it is a particular larger component, if it is a particular larger component or a component which requires uniform feeding, in that particular condition, it is not possible to give uniform feed by using a manual power. In that particular condition, by using the lead screw mechanism, by using that particular lead screw, this particular cross slide obtained automatic feed mechanism. Automatic feed mechanism. That means without a hand or without a human application, the cross slide moves perpendicular to the axis with a uniform feed rate. So that is the advantage of power feed. That is the advantage of the power feed or cross feed screw. But for small jobs, it is waste process. to provide this particular power feed mechanism. For small components of smaller diameter, the best method is providing motion or movement for the cross slide with the help of the hand only or hand wheel only. So this particular cross slide, its front portion is graduated in degrees. Why it is supposed to be provided in degrees? In order to provide swiveling or oscillation or rotate or angular position for this particular compound rest. So the discussion is very 3 points. Parallel to axis, carriage, that means saddle. Perpendicular, then it is required motion of the particular cross slide. If the cutting tool required inclined position or angular position, then the compound rest is supposed to be moved. That means in order to move the cutting tool, in inclined position, so both carriage and cross slide is supposed to be at a constant position, and this particular compound rest is supposed to be moved. That means in order to adjust the compound rest, to a required angular position, that particular cross slide, front portion is provided with a angular marking, is graduated, means the front portion of the cross slide is represented with degrees or represented with the angular value of angles. So this particular compound rest is swiveled over the cross slide to the required degree or required angle. So the compound rest in some locations or in some persons, they are directly called as the tool rest. So but the compound rest, it supports the tool post or tool rest. So this particular compound rest, it is mounted over the cross slide. So provided with a swivel plate. So the compound rest is having a base with a circular plate or with a circular disc. So now the circular disc or circular plate is rotated to the required angular position. That means during that particular angular operations, that means in order to move the cutting tool at a particular angle, or in order to provide taper turning operations only, the compound rest is adjusted to a particular portion and the compound rest is moved immediately as compared with the job. Otherwise, in the either parallel position or perpendicular position, the compound rest should not move. Only either cross slide or saddle is supposed to be moved. So this particular compound rest may be swiveled on the cross slide to any angle in the horizontal plane. To any angle means the rotation of angle is restricted up to 90 degree only. So this particular compound rest is very essential in the process or in the production of taper turning operations. So that is the meaning of necessary in turning angles. So tool post. So the tool post is the topmost portion of that particular carriage. The cutting tool, which is supposed to be used to remove that particular excess material or unwanted material, is placed in this particular tool post only. So for this particular purpose, various attachments are there. In order to adjust that particular cutting tool at required portion, some saddle keys are used. to adjust the height of the cutting tool. Always the center point of the cutting tool should exact same portion or parallel to center of the job only or center of the axis only. So for that particular purpose, various tool adjustment plates are used. So this particular one gets movement by the movement of the saddle and cross slide. The tool post move either because of the movement of that particular carriage, that means saddle, or because of the cross slide also, because of the motion or movement of the cross slide also, the tool post is obtained motion. And in addition to this one, that particular compound rest motion also provide the movement for that particular tool post. So this particular common tool post are different types. One is the standard tool post. Second one is the four-way tool post. So this is a particular one is the standard tool post. This particular one is the standard tool post. That means this particular cutting tool is mounted over a pillar. This particular cutting tool is inserted within a pillar, and the position or height of the cutting tool is adjusted with the help of this particular screw. In order to lift that particular cutting tool to match with that particular axis, now that particular board piece or saddle keys are placed exactly at the bottom of the cutting tool. Whenever that particular board piece or dummy piece are provided or placed over the bottom of the cutting tool, the cutting point of that particular cutting tool is lifted to the required height. So this is the four. So the placing of a cutting tool, in this particular lathe tool post is in four ways. 1, 2, 3, 4 corners. That means simultaneously, two or more than two, that means up to 4 cutting tools are placed over the lathe tool post. In the previous one, it is not possible to place more than one. That means for turning, the required cutting tool geometry is 1, and if it is a thread cutting operation, this particular cutting tool which is used for facing and turning operation is not at all useful. So in that condition, this particular cutting tool is supposed to be removed, and the next cutting tool is supposed to be placed within that particular pillar groove, and once again it is the height of the cutting tool is supposed to be adjusted. In this way, in order to perform multi operations for a large batch production, it is not at all useful, this standard tool. But that means each and every time the cutting tool is supposed to be removed and it is supposed to be adjusted to the required height. Suppose instead of using that particular standard tool post, by using a 4-way tool post, the required number of cutting tools up to 4 only, up to maximum number 4 number of cutting tools are supposed to be placed, and the height of that particular one is adjusted same by using the board piece. And to keep the cutting tool constant position, these Allen screws are adjusted at the required portion. So these are the two important lathe tool posts. One is the standard one and another one is the 4-way tool post. Why it is called as the 4-way tool post means this particular tool post is moved in the 4 directions. That means as it carries 4 cutting tools, it is called as the 4-way tool post. So height of the tool can be adjusted with the help of ring and rocker, whereas 4-way tool post, provision of holding 4 separate tool holders. So swivel to required position. So this is the advantage of the 4-way tool post, whereas for standard tool post, the swiveling is not at all possible. So this particular apron, this is the hanging part in front of the carriage. It serves as a housing for number of gear trains. So the operator is generally stands exactly in front of the apron. So in order to engage the carriage to lead screw for thread cutting operations, this particular apron is very useful. It also serves as the housing for number of gear trains also. So this apron equipped with power feed mechanism for carriage and cross slide. Just now we discussed, for small components the feed is supposed to be provided manually, whereas for large components it is not possible to provide uniform feed with the help of the human power. So in order to provide uniform feed to that particular job, so the best method used is the power feed mechanism, either for both carriage or cross slide. But remember, it is not possible to provide power feed mechanism or automatic motion for this particular compound rest. So it carries clutch mechanism and off nut mechanism. So very important question. Off nut mechanism used for which operation? Off nut mechanism is mainly used for thread cutting operation. So this is that particular dimension. So this particular one is the observe. This is the male dovetail portion of the saddle. This particular one is the saddle. Observe. Saddle is having 2 edges. One edge of this particular saddle is having inverted V groove, and another edge of the saddle, it consists a flat groove. Now over this particular saddle, one male dovetail groove is provided. over the male dovetail groove, that means along its length of this particular male dovetail groove, the cross slide moves in the perpendicular position. So now the motion to the particular cross slide, the motion for the particular cross slide is rotated, is given with the help of the particular hand wheel. The motion for the saddle, the motion for the saddle or the movement for the total carriage is provided with the help of this particular hand wheel. Observe carefully. The movement or motion for this particular, the motion or the movement for this particular cross carriage or saddle is provided with this particular gear wheel. Whereas the particular motion for this particular cross slide is provided with this particular gear wheel, hand wheel. And in order to move that particular tool post, in order to move the tool post, or in order to move that particular cutting tool in the inclined position, this particular hand wheel is supposed to be rotated. In order to adjust this particular one, this is the front portion of this particular cross slide is having degrees. So this is the it is graduations. So these are the, observe carefully. Here some lines are printed or marked over the cross slide with degrees. So now by rotating this particular tailstock to this particular graduations or to this particular markings, the cutting tool position is adjusted to required angular position. So line diagrams gives simple idea, but it is not at all possible to get the total concept, a total picture or total idea of that particular component, whether it may be a cutting tool or whether it may be a machine unit or what it may be. So by visualizing a true photocopy of a machine or true photocopy of a component only, we can obtain or the clear-cut idea of that particular mechanism or the clear-cut of idea of that particular component or machine or mechanism or process is given. So with the help of this particular, observe carefully. Here, it is the total lathe machine system. So on that particular total lathe machine system, only that particular required carriage is highlighted. Observe with a green color picture. So this is the total. This is the tool post system. So this is the tool post system. So this particular apron, it is having clutch mechanism. So observe. So this particular portion, this threading rods, and this is called as the apron. So apron, it is having a clutch mechanism used to transmit motion from feed rod. So an off-nut mechanism, it is used for producing thread cutting operations with the help of the lead screw. So the off-nut mechanism engaged only for thread cutting operation, and for remaining operations only that particular clutch mechanism is used to transmit the motion. So feed and lead screw, So this particular feed and lead screw, these are having different feed screw mechanisms. One is the H8 feed screw, another is the H9 lead screw. So these are the feed screw and lead screw operations. So this is the system. So this is the carriage and this is the feed rod or lead screw. Once again observe how the motion or how the movement is adjusted for this particular lead screw. So whenever this particular both clamps are mounted over the lead screw, immediately it causes for producing motion to this particular cutting tool. So feed screw is a long drive shaft. It allows a series of gears to drive the carriage mechanism. So in order to drive the carriage at different speeds, it is having a series of gears. Next, feed and lead screws are driven either by the change of gears or an intermediate gearbox. It depends upon machine to machine. This particular either by change gears or an intermediate gearbox. It depends upon that particular manufacturer or the particular producer of that particular lathe machine. So intermediate gearbox is known as the quick change gearbox. So in this way, intermediate gearbox are used for direction of that particular thread cutting operations. So tumbler gears are provided between the spindle and gear train along with the quadrant plate. So this particular tumbler gears enables a gear train of correct ratio and direction to be reduced. Tumbler gears, the purpose of the tumbler gears is only to change the direction. So the tumbler gears should not affect the speed ratio. Remember, speed ratio means the ratio of driving wheel to driven wheel. Tumbler gears are used only for changing the required direction or required driving rotation of that particular object. But the tumbler gears should not affect that particular speed ratio. Tumbler gears provide constant relationship between the number of turns the spindle makes to the number of turns. That means constant relationship between the number of turns the spindle makes to the number of turns the lead screw makes. That means it should not affect, the tumbler gear should not affect the speed of that, that means speed ratio. Only it changes this range the screw that to be cut on the workpiece with the head of a die. So with this one, with this particular one, today we discussed about the remaining important parts of the lathe machine. So in the yesterday class, in the previous class, we discussed about the main parts of the lathe machine, that is the bed and head stock. And in the today's class or in the present class, the discussion is completed, remaining the regarding two important parts, that is the tail stock and the carriage. It is not at all possible, it is not at all good to consider a particular part is good for a particular machine. Even a single screw is having its specific role or specific purpose. So that's why, as far as the parts of a lathe machine means, we consider the total components, that means bed, headstock and tailstock and carriage. Both are having equal involvement or equal priority. So, and here if we observe clearly, each and every component, once again it is having a more number of fastening devices, nuts, screws, keys, hand wheels. But we are not considering all the parts as the main parts. It is not at all good to consider all the screws, all the hand wheels are as an individual part. All these parts are used to assemble or to integrated the main four parts. Okay. So with this one, so far we completed. This is the 5th class for us. Up to the completion of the within this first 5 classes, the discussion regarding the types of lathe machines and working principle of the lathe machine and the function of the lathe machine is completed. And once again, what are the various types of lathe machine? We discussed briefly what is the important function or purpose of each different type of lathe machine. In the latter stage, our discussion goes on broadly regarding each and every lathe machine. It may be automatic lathe or capstan lathe or turret lathe, what it will be the lathe. During that particular topic, our discussion maybe goes broadly, but at the beginning, our discussion is briefly. After completion of the types of machines, after completion of types of lathe, then the next topic what we discussed is specifications of lathe. After completion of specification of lathe, next topic is parts of lathe. So with this one, so far within the 5 classes, we completed the discussion of this particular lathe machine up to parts of the lathe. So our discussion or our class is supposed to be continued in the next class. Okay. So far we are discussing so many topics. Try to concentrate on the topics and try to get some idea what are the key points and how these particular diagrams or how the particular different diagrams are useful for us in order to picturize the concept of the component in our brain or in our mind. Okay. Thank you.